the last thousands of years, and there's pivotal points in history where the way we responded to our children happened. So that we just, as a culture, there was a way that we worked with our children that significantly changed, and it takes 2 generations for that change to have significant social, environmental, political outcomes. So what we do now for our children is actually for our grandchildren. So if we want to create more harmonious relationships with each other, with ourselves and with the earth, then we do that now so that our grandchildren feel the outcomes of that. And that's research, that's not just my belief. There's a lot of current research which is showing that, which wasn't around 10 years ago. So it's very new and up to date, and it's extremely powerful. When we look at the sustainability movement, that pretty much highlights that, parenting and the way we relate to our children, that is the centerpiece of a sustainable future, because the way that we respond to them and their basic neurological needs being met through the way we relate to them, then builds these core beliefs that they have a right to exist, and that the earth provides everything for them that they need, and they feel loved and nourished and supported as a human being.
And they want to do the same for others.
They want to do the same for others, yeah. Dr Marion Rose, she also talks about it beautifully in an article that she wrote, which it's called How We Respond to Our Children Affects Their Relationship with Themselves, Other Beings, and the Planet. And she's got 10 reasons why your parenting is making a difference to our planet. And it's a beautiful list of quite direct examples that when we do this is the outcome.
We could put a link to this when we podcast this episode, and also at our Facebook page on Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond Media.
One of the points which is directly related to our children's emotional needs not being met, it reads, when children are holding in painful feelings, they will avoid deep connection and intimacy because loving connection with us helps them connect with their painful feelings. The more we can listen to their painful feelings, the more comfortable they are with intimacy. Having humans who can be intimate with others really helps our culture and our world. And I think that is such a powerful thing for us to recognise, that if we can be present and assertive and with our children and their feelings and their emotions, then they will build. They receive that love, and as a mother or a father feeling that and giving that to their child, they can give that same love to other people and the planet when they grow into an adult.
Yeah, this is really so crucial for our survival, because even for anyone out there who isn't so concerned about the environmental situation that we see reported in the newspaper and the radio and the television news virtually every day, just simply looking at the continual rise of youth suicide rates, at levels we've never seen, and they are not going away. And the health of our children is the lowest that it's ever been, and only getting worse. Those figures to me show that we really need to look at the key influences for children's emotional and mental well-being. And I think investing in the early years, as you say, in terms of our time, and finding ways for that to be also financially sustainable, so we can keep the roof over our heads and the food on the table.
You really nailed it there, Sally. Whether we want to agree there are environmental impacts which are threatening human survival or not, this really comes down to a child being happy, healthy, and able to have relationships that aren't violent and don't cause destruction for themselves and the community around them. And that, once again, comes back down to the relationships that they have and the hard wiring that goes into their brain in those formative years of their life. So if you do wish to explore that further, Robin Grille's book Parenting for a Peaceful World is is a must read for. I believe everyone having a child really should read that book.
I think it's a must read for everybody. Actually, it's a fascinating psychohistory, a term you used earlier, into how we developed the mental state that we have now.
Yep, I absolutely love the work Robin presents, and I sincerely feel that his messages are the most powerful opportunity we have to create a more peaceful and harmonious world in the future. I'm going to try and share with you some of the most powerful messages that I have received from his work, and one of them is about changing our programming to create evolution of our species. So, as children, we are responded to in a manner of ways, and the way that we are responded to becomes our hardwiring and part of our subconscious, and that is for all of us. All our parents did the very best they could to meet our emotional needs and provide us with a secure and safe environment while we grew up. And no matter what they did, whether we see it as positive or negative, that is our hardwiring, and that is something that, from my experience, I never knew until I became a father myself, and I was able to pinpoint my reaction to my children and be able to choose at that point whether to continue that pattern or whether to look at that self-talk, which was the talk that I received as a child, and choose whether I wish to change that or whether I wish to continue that pattern for the next generation.
So Robin's work is around raising people's awareness of, firstly, their patterning, and secondly, how you can address the patterns when you're parenting. That's right.
Yeah, he's got strategies to do that, and if you are able to attend any of Robin's workshops or talks that he does around the world, I would highly recommend it, because you're equipped with tools to allow that process to happen much more succinctly and at the right time than you would be without these tools. For my knee-jerk reactions and the ones that I've seen, it was me not being present with my child's feelings, and my response was going to be completely out of context to what a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old was actually trying to achieve out of a situation. So, I was about to react with my head, whereas what I was able to do was bring it back into my heart and then see that, the fact that there's stuff all over the floor and shoes there and this here and I've tripped over and broken something was actually because they were fully expressing their creativity while they developed this model to show people. I'm like, oh, cool, that's actually awesome. My first reaction would have been in my head to be like, gosh, why is there stuff everywhere? But then when I came into my heart and then looked at the reality of the situation, it was actually a really beautiful situation that was going on, and I was able to go, I probably would have left exactly the same mess there if I was undergoing that same task. So, because
actually you're describing there a child in their full flow, and that's key to happiness. And it's something that when we move out of childhood and into adult life, we become very weighed down by all the shoulds and the musts and the things we need to do. And finding that bliss state
mm-hmm. and
is
also
something we don't get to access much.
No, we don't get to access it much, but it also, it flows on, is that we as adults often communicate down to children, and we communicate as if they should know better, or as if they should not have done this or should not have done that. And what I'm completely seeing, and it can't be any truer, is that our children are mirroring and mimicking everything that we do. So I've got a 16-month baby at home, and all she's done for 16 months is mimic everyone in the family and mimic everything that we are doing. So if if a child is doing something that we don't, that triggers us, look at where they have learnt or mimicked doing that from. Is it from someone within the family? Is it something that they've seen through TV or media? Because they're only mimicking. There's a very fine line between them knowing that they shouldn't be doing what they are and them mimicking what they've seen other people doing and therefore doing themselves. And at that point, I guess it's the communication that we use. Would you talk to your best friend the way that you talk to your child? And if not, maybe we should pause and look at that self-talk, come back into our heart, and then take a really deep breath and then actually communicate in a way that is on a level ground and from respect and love, rather than should have land. So.
I have a quote here from Joseph Campbell: "Follow your bliss and the universe will open doors for you where there were only walls."
We hope you've enjoyed this week's Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond show. Tune in next week for more radical and soulful radio, bringing us full circle. Our radio show now has a Facebook page. Take a peek, say hello, become a fan and stay up to date with the show. Go to facebook.com/Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond Radio.
This episode of the Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond show was produced with the support of the Community Broadcasting Foundation.